Next question. Will American ROE, that's rules of engagement, continue to become more bureaucratic and cumbersome, or will the U.S. regain the will to win?
First of all, the guys there have the will to win, and they'll wait till people shoot at them. Not like near them, like as the ROE is. Not like it used to be. If somebody shot and you heard the gunshot, that's like getting shot at. But now we have to be able to actually say that we were shot at. That's like bullets snapping past your head. Like that's hearing the whiz and then the crack. That's close. That's what we pretty much have to have. ROE.
So just let me put some context around that, because we don't have, not everyone that listens to this is in the military. Let me put some context around what Tim just said. That's freaking ridiculous. That means you're waiting until you're about to get killed before you take action. Yeah. If you're waiting for rounds, because when rounds are snapping over your head, that means you're under suppressive fire just about. You can no longer maneuver. So this is like waiting until, for a civilian, this is waiting until the knife is at your throat before you decide to defend yourself. That's what Tim's talking about.
Yeah. It'd be like a salesman being like you're a commission-based salesman, and you see a potential client come in, but you're not allowed to engage him. You're not allowed to. You actually have to wait, let him pick up the product, and then walk over to you and ask if he can buy it. And almost have the customer be walking out the door had he already set the product down before you're allowed to talk to him. That's when you're allowed to engage him. Does that make sense from a sales perspective?
Yes.
That does? Mm-hmm. Echo Charlie. Wisdom thrown down.
So not good.
Not good. We'll see. First of all, the rules of engagement there are not going to be the same here. So I think some places like Afghanistan and Iraq have been capitalizing on, and now Syria, on our rules of engagement. I know Africa is. Africa's like, okay, we know the Americans are only allowed to go to the last concealed cover position, and they're not allowed to directly engage unless they have been actively fired. So they'll be like, oh, there's the Americans over there. We're not going to shoot at them so they can't shoot back. We'll just kill all the Africans who they're there to help. They're like intentionally doing this, and they're pretty clever about it, the Boko Haram. But then right now with the radicalized cells here, the fanatic Muslims that think that they're going to come here and be able to do that. No, bro. Remember Pearl Harbor. Remember the Alamo. Remember 9/11. Shit will be different if you think you're going to come here and play around. ROE will not exist.
Nope.
No.
Not here.
Dun, dun, dun.
There's a lot of political correctness that steers stuff from time to time.
It gets people killed.
It does. It does. One of the things that's coming up a lot in the news right now, and we got to ask some questions about it, is women coming into combat roles inside the military, which, first of all, credit to the women that have served in the wars. And I've seen women in Ramadi rolling out on Kazovacs to go out and help my guys.
Yeah.
God bless them.
Fearless.
Brilliant. Awesome.
Totally capable at their respective jobs.
Full credit. And then there's a limitation, in my opinion, as to where you would want to intentionally assign women to.
There's things that women can do that we could never do.
That is true.
I'm in South America. I want to get some intel. I can go in a bar and work it for a month before I get one informant. I just spent, $20,000 of taxpayer dollars. Yeah. You stick a girl in there, an hour.
Yep.
And she has 10. And she's like, you suck, you suck, you suck, you suck, you suck. I'm awesome at this. You just put 100 pounds on her back and throw her out of the back of an airplane. I love women. Their legs are going to break.
Yeah. It's just a biological factor of what is it? Muscular skeleton
Anatomy.
There you go. Thank you. And they're built differently. And
Thank God they're built differently because I could never give birth.
indeed.
They're way tougher than we are. Like what right now is like we're talking about it, the pinnacle of exercise.
Well, one really good way to judge would be the CrossFit Games. Very well-rounded athletes that have to have strength, endurance, agility, etc. And
Are there different standards for men and women?
there are different standards for men and women. Yes.
So are we going to have different standards in, let's say, Special Forces selection?
I would hope not.
Okay, so if we had the same standard, you had given an example of the CrossFit Games.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting. I was watching the finals of the CrossFit Games. It was last year, I think, and the event, the finals men went first. It was 10 guys or something, and they came out. And they had to do multiple physical activities. The first one was a pegboard, like what you had.
Those are hard.
Yeah, they're
in
hard
the
to do.
wrestling room.
They had them in the wrestling room. You had them in school, and
You couldn't go home until you did it.
And this one was, I want to say it was 15 feet tall. So it's a pretty tall pegboard. And they had to, so the guys come out, they have to go up the pegboard and back down. They get done with that, they have to jump on a rower and row a certain amount of calories. And then they move down the line and they're picking up and I think they were cleaning and jerking weights that were increasing in weight as they went towards the end. And there was a 10-minute maximum time to complete this evolution. So the guys come out, boom, they go. They all go hard. It's hard. They climb the pegboard. They come down. They row the row. They lift the weights. They're done. Everybody finishes. They give the guy the first place. Okay, cool. Then it's the girls' turn. And they have it set up for the girls. They're doing the same thing. They make the weights a little bit lighter, but they have it's the same basic concept. And the girls come out, and these girls, they look as big and strong as I do or you do, and I'm not kidding. These girls are beasts.
They're amazing.
They're amazing athletes.
CrossFit athletes are beautiful.
And they come out, and out of the 8 or 10 girls that goes into the first thing and hits the pegboard, only one of them can make it up.
They're tough.
And the other 7 or 8 or 9 athletes can't even get up it. And then the girl, it took her so long to get up the pegboard that when she got to the rower, she was exhausted. She got done with the rower, and she didn't complete the rest of the course because she ran out of the 10-minute time limit.
Yeah.
And to me, I never really had thought too much about the physicality. I always figured, you know what, you get a girl that's in good enough shape, maybe they could make it through some of the training that is required for special operations. But when I saw that, it really did leave an impact on me mentally of how different it is. And I'll tell you another thing. I was at my gym several years ago, and I hadn't rolled with a jiu-jitsu for a long time, right? Yeah. Maybe played around. And all of a sudden, we had a girl that was coming into town that was a black belt in jiu-jitsu and was a multi-time world champion. And great technique. And so I said to when I was going to roll, and so we were on the mat, and she's like, hey, you want to roll? And in my mind, I thought to myself, okay, you know what? I got to bring my A game right now.
Yeah.
I mean, this girl's a world champion. She's not a small girl, I mean, she's 160, 165 pounds. And if you make a mistake against a 165-pound black belt, you're going to tap. That's it. So I say to myself, you know what? I got to be careful. I got to kind of bring my A game here. And we shook hands. And as soon as I as soon as I touched her gi and she touched mine, I just realized there's no way that she could ever submit me.
Yeah.
I mean, unless I just was it just wasn't going to happen because she just doesn't have the strength.
Yeah. Well, I want to talk about that. How long have you been doing martial arts?
20-something years.
I was just talking about this the other day. Like, we can, within a second of touching somebody, have an idea about what they can do. I mean, within seconds. So, like, this isn't just like you in this misogynistic, sexist way, we're rolling with this girl. She doesn't have a chance after I touch her. That's not what it was. This is like one of the best grapplers on the planet, and a Navy SEAL, and an amazing black belt, and an instructor that legitimately had the the revelation, realized that this isn't possible.
Yes. And actually, Echo, you described a story last week. The first time he was a white belt, and the first time he ever trained with Dean Lister, as he said, as soon as he touched him, as soon as he locked up with him, he goes, I can't do anything against this guy. And so I failed to mention that yes, when you're a grappler, as soon as you tie up with someone, you go, oh, this is going to be tough.
Yeah.
This guy doesn't really know anything. You even know things like, hey, I got to watch out for this guy's, head position, or he's really good. You can feel all that just by a clinch.
Yeah.
And so, that's what I should have stated that, but as soon as I made contact with her, I said to myself, wow, I was mistaken, because this is no factor.
So let's say 1 in 1,000 women could make it through one of our respective selections, which I think might be a little unrealistic, honestly. I'm thinking more of like 1 in 5,000 could do it. That still doesn't mean that they should be there. I'm not saying they shouldn't or they should. We have to see. What it can't be is dictated, that we have to do it. And then second, we can't change anything. Otherwise, it undermines the entire idea of being special. If you have a special unit and there's a special requirement to be there, that requirement has to stay the same. If you're going to then change that requirement, you've then changed the unit. And then you've undermined the woman earning her chance to be there. It's going to change the chemistry. It's going to change how the team is going to function. Not for the worse, not for the better. We just don't know what that's going to be.
Yeah. And it's not just, first of all, it's not just special operations. It's not just military. I mean, it's any job that requires physical strength. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about physical strength. And if you can't maintain, if you can't do what the job requires, if you're a firefighter and you can't pull yourself up a ladder with carrying a 80-pound rope on your back or an 80-pound hose on your back, you shouldn't be able to have that job. Yeah. And so it's just one of those really tough things, because, hey, I got 3 daughters, right? I got 1 son and 3 daughters. Believe me, I want my daughters to be successful, and I want them to have every opportunity they possibly can.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, something else, I do not want my daughters going onto the battlefield if they can't pull one of their buddies out from the street if they've been shot.
Yeah. How much do you weigh?
230 pounds.
So you weigh 265, 270 with kid on?
Oh, more than that.
Yeah. Our kid's gotten lighter.
Okay.
So my plates, my first deployment were 24 pounds.
Okay, yeah.
Now they weigh 5 pounds.
The whole thing?
No, the actual bot, the plates.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
so you're shaving off
20
pounds here and there.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Just stuff's getting lighter.
Nice.
Yeah, but they're not going to pick up 285 pounds and move.
It's not going to happen.
No,
it's not going to happen.
I'm normally a 220-pound guy.
Right.
And I'm a grenade-carrying maniac. So while my kit is normally like 20, 30 pounds, I then have a backpack with like 20 grenades. Because sometimes I'm like, I'm going to flashbang this room. Yeah. And sometimes I'm like, I'm going to frag it.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to deal with what's inside.
Yeah. You get guys like you, and I appreciate when someone like yourself takes a certain artistic perspective when it comes to combat. And you say to yourself, you know what? These little frag grenades, I like them. I like what they do.
They're so little. They're so mean.
They're so little. They're so mean.
Yeah.
And I like that. I like people that have that artistic expression that they utilize in combat to express themselves. It's a beautiful thing.
Just looking for an opportunity.
That's the political correctness and bureaucracy in the military. Not a good thing.